Hi, I'm Diane Kometa, and today on Dishing with Di, I'm making red velvet cupcakes. These cupcakes are moist and fluffy, and I can't wait to make them, and I'm sure you can either. So let's get started on Dishing with Di. You need some all-purpose flour, some unsweetened cocoa powder, salt, unsalted softened butter, granulated sugar, buttermilk at room temperature, baking soda, white distilled vinegar, vanilla extract, vegetable oil, and an egg at room temperature that's been lightly whisked. You're also going to need some red food coloring. Now, I don't open mine and measure it out. I wait until the last minute because I don't want any accidents. I also have some plastic gloves. This is an option for you, and plenty of paper towels. So just be ready, and you might want to wear an apron and definitely wear something that you're not worried about getting red on. So the first thing that we're going to do is take our flour and we're going to sift that with the unsweetened cocoa powder and the salt. You're combining the ingredients and you're separating all the particles, and that imparts a little bit of air in there as well. So this is a nice fine mesh strainer. Just push everything through. There's always lumps in the cocoa powder, so it's really important that you sift that. All right, then what I like to do is also take my whisk and just run it through. Let's get everything thoroughly combined. And then if you go to the bottom, sometimes you see some flour down there. So just really stir this thoroughly. Now just set that aside. And you want to have your oven preheating to 350 degrees and line a cupcake tin with 12 cupcake liners. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is take the vegetable oil and some of the vanilla extract, and I'm going to mix that together and just set that aside. Now, take your butter, and using either a stand mixer or a hand mixer, you're going to put that in. You're just going to whip this up a little bit. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to take the sugar and gradually add that in. I'm going to start on low speed and then I'm going to move it up. Just a little bit at a time. And once you get this all in here, you're going to cream it together. It'll probably take about 2 minutes. Okay, I'm just going to give this a little scrape down. So I'm just going to twirl this around one more time. And now I'm going to gradually pour my egg in. I'm going to put the mixer on low, and I'm going to pour this down the side of the bowl. And just a little bit. And just let that get combined slightly. And then turn it up a little. Just add the rest in. And then just turn that up a little bit, and you just want to get this nice and creamy and well combined. Okay, I'm just going to give this a quick scrape. You just always want to make sure, especially if you have a stand mixer, see at the bottom there's always something down there. So you want to get in there good with your stand mixer and scrape the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to take that little combination of vanilla and vegetable oil, and we're going to put that in. Okay, that's good. You just want to get that nice and well combined. Now you're going to start adding in your dry ingredients, excluding the baking soda. So in here again, we have our flour, salt, and the unsweetened cocoa powder. So I'm going to add a little bit more than 1/3 of this in right now. Just slowly with the mixer on low. Now you want to get this thoroughly incorporated. It's okay to mix it well now. It's after we add the buttermilk in that we're going to start forming gluten, and that's when you want to be careful not to overmix. So right now, we're going to mix this well, and I'm going to give it a nice scrape down. Okay, now I have my buttermilk here, and this has been sitting for a little while. It's at room temperature, and sometimes buttermilk can separate a little bit, so I'm just going to give this a little quick stir. And I'm going to add half of this in slowly down the side of the bowl. Just turn the mixer on low. Just drizzle it in slowly, and just half of it. And then turn the mixer up a little. And I'm going to help that and give it a little scrape. I'm going to add another half of the remaining flour. Just half of what's left. You want to have a little bit left, so we're always starting and ending with the flour. And let that just get incorporated. And I'm going to scrape it. I don't want to keep mixing and mixing. If you see it sticking up on the sides, just take your spatula and give it a scrape. You don't want to just keep trying to mix it and mix it, because then you're going to create some problems for yourself. So we want this nice and light and fluffy. Okay, now I'm going to take what's left of the buttermilk, and I'm going to get my red food coloring. First, I'm putting gloves on. So I would advise this if you can, otherwise be extremely careful, because it can be really messy. And I know I look like I'm ready for surgery now, or some house cleaning, but it's just a precaution, because I've done this before and I know what can happen. And I'm also going to get my paper towels out, and I'm going to lay those down, because if this gets on my countertop, it's going to leave a stain. And so be careful of that. You know, this isn't just a regular cupcake recipe. We have a lot of red food coloring here. And if you have granite, be careful of that, because that's porous and it's just going to sink right in. If you have a white countertop, be careful. And just make sure this lid is tight. And when we're done with it, put it away. Okay? So here we go. And I have 1 tablespoon, and I'm going to put this in here, okay, and just pour that in. Close the lid. I'm putting it back in the box, out of the way, and then I'm just going to take a fork and just stir that around. Now, the last thing I'm going to do with this is take the vinegar and the baking soda. Now, as soon as we put these in here, we have to move quickly. So this is going to create a chemical reaction, and then we're going to put it right into our batter, and then we're going to follow that with the flour. But this next, couple steps here is fast. So add this in, and then the baking soda, and you see the fizz? Give it a quick stir. All right, and right into our bowl here. Right down the side. You want all of it in there. So if there's some left at the bottom of this, you're going to scrape it out, because it's not just buttermilk and food coloring. There's vinegar and baking soda in there. So I'm going to stop for a second, and I'm just scraping whatever's at the bottom out. I don't want to lose any of that. I'm just going to mix this through just until it's combined. And now I'm going to add in the last of my flour. Okay, that's it. I don't want to mix it anymore. Now, it does require some more mixing, but I'm going to do that by hand. Now, all this red stuff, let's try to keep it away from you. All right, I'm taking it off, and I'm going to finish it up with the spatula. And it's good because the food coloring has the baking soda in it, so I could see, if it's distributed evenly. Okay, quickly, now we're going to fill up our muffin tins. Now, just go around, fill them up evenly. I just take a spoon and I kind of smooth it out. Now just give this a couple quick taps down and then into the oven, 350 degrees for approximately 18 minutes, and I'll show you what that looks like. Once the cupcakes are done, put them on the rack to cool for about 10 minutes before removing them from the pan. And here they are. They're all done. And I'm just getting ready to frost them with my cream cheese frosting. I mean, you can't have a red velvet cupcake without cream cheese frosting. I'll make sure I leave the recipe for this. So what I usually do is I like to pipe it on. You could spread the cream cheese frosting on there, or you could even use a buttercream frosting. I have a recipe for that. Or you could mix a buttercream and a cream cheese together, like a 50-50 combo, and put that on there. But I like to put it on with the piping bag, and I'll show you how I do that. It looks very pretty. Okay, so I just start in the center and then go around. And just go to the outside, and look how pretty. It looks like a flower. And then you just pull off like that. Doesn't that look pretty? So there you go. Now you know how to make the perfect red velvet cupcake with cream cheese frosting. I'll leave the links for the cream cheese and the buttercream frosting, and all the recipes can be found on my website, dishinwithdi.com. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for weekly updates. I hope I made your life a little easier, more enjoyable, and delicious. Bye-bye now.